All right, welcome everybody joining us right here on Zoom with our little group, and all of you joining us on Facebook and YouTube and obviously the Bet Aleph app. It's always good to have you here on this glorious Thursday, December 8th. And we're just about to start, so this is your time to find a comfortable sitting position. And close your eyes. And as you do so, begin to notice your gorgeous being. Feeling into its sensations, aware of its emotions, and also paying attention to the mind. What is the quality of the mind in this moment? Is it calm and rested, or is it agitated? Is it all over the place? Or is it right here? Whatever you find, it's fine. It's no right or wrong answer. The process of meditation is simply to notice what is right here. And the more you can be present to your physical being, your emotional being, and your mental state, the more you can create a certain kind of distance that allows us to not be completely swallowed up by the thoughts, by the emotions, by the sensations. We practice observing all of it as if from a distance. And what that does is that these sensations, those emotions, and the thoughts no longer own us. They are no longer dictating our life. We can live a life more aware, more awake. So basic meditation is to make what we think of right now as the subject of experience, which in everyday consciousness seems to be our thoughts, our emotions, our sensations. We think of ourselves as being the totality of our thoughts, emotions, and sensations. We think that those three aspects of reality are the subject, that which is having, that which is being, these thoughts, emotions, desires, sensations. But this process of meditation is making the subject, the so believed subject, object. That really is a way to summarize what we're doing. We make the subject, what is perceived or understood to be the subject, into an object. So when we first come to meditation, we believe that we are the thoughts, that the totality of who we are is all the ways we can think of who we are. All our ideas, all our notions, perspectives, opinions, points of views, worldviews, our likes and dislikes, our for and against, all of that seems to be the totality of who we are. But then as we practice more and more, observing these thoughts coming and going, telling their stories, and we start to see those thoughts as objects. And slowly but surely, we begin to disidentify from those thoughts, those emotions, those desires, those sensations. We turn them into objects, things to look at, things to observe. And naturally, without much effort, just in the practice of doing that, in this differentiation, in this separation, something is born. Unbeknownst to us, we don't even pay attention to it because it's all right here. But something is born, and that something is this new character in the story of us. The observer. Suddenly we seem to embody a different kind of perspective that is not collapsed into the thoughts, that is not identified with the desires, the sensations, the emotions, but something else, something that is observing, something that is watching, something that is able to hold all of those in front of it and look at it. Unbeknownst to us, something else has emerged out of the identification with the objects. Something different. And obviously the question begins then to be asked. If I am not the thoughts, the concepts, the ideas, the notions, the points of views, if I am not the desires that arise, all the things that I used to say I want, I need, all the emotions that I seems to have experienced, all the sensation that seems to be my sensations. Well, if those are no longer mine, me, then who am I? Who is this observer? What is this awareness that is aware of all the thoughts, but is not the thoughts? That is aware of all the emotions, and therefore is not the emotions. That is aware of the desires, the sensations, and therefore is not the desires or the sensations. There is the body, but clearly as I am able to observe the body, I am not the body. If I am able to observe the emotions, then I am not the emotions. If something is able to observe the sensations, the desires, the thoughts, then it is not the desires and the thoughts. Then what is it? And then we bump against a little bit of an obstacle because we have spent our life reasoning thinking, our reality. And here is something that is not the thoughts, but is really here. Seeing, observing, perceiving. And I can't think it up because it is here before the thoughts. It sees the thoughts. It's not the thoughts. So I am disturbed because I can't conceive of it. There is one thing I cannot objectify. Is that which is doing the looking, the seeing. It cannot be seen, just like one cannot see one's own eyes. And so there is really nothing we can do. Nothing that the sensations, the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body can do about figuring out who and what this awareness is. All we can do, and that's a very loaded sentence, all we can do, which in itself is probably a lie, but let's go with it. All we can do is rest as awareness. To let ourselves sink into the quiet emptiness, the silent nothingness of the observer. Again, the language betrays us because when we say observer, we're looking for something, someone. Because the language is always pointing to something out there, an object. That's why I often like to use verbs. The observing. So all we can do is rest as the observing. And the more we rest as the observing, the more we connect, the more we come to embody the observing. And the less we take ourselves to be all the objects of thoughts, emotions, desires, sensation that are arising in front of us, in front of the observing. And again, none of those words are to be held literally. Because really it's not arising in front of, it's arising within the observing. So that's the most critical instruction in meditation, perhaps, is to rest as the observing, as the awareing. Completely relaxed, completely surrendered. Always I say, just remain aware. Because aware or awareing is really all that remains once we have let go of all other identification with all the objects arising. That's why I often say and repeat, just remain aware. Because aware is all that remains when everything else has been seen as objects. And that is who we are, ultimately, always. And we gently let go of the awareing, of the observing. And as we take perhaps a couple of deeper breaths to help us transition out of our meditation, we notice how the mind reasserts itself and how easy it is for us to go back to the habit of understanding ourself as the thoughts, as the body, as the emotions. Notice that also this is just a habit that we have taken on for so long that we don't know another way of being. And meditation is helping us carve for a few minutes another way of understanding who we are. And we're going to keep on multiplying those experiences until a shift happens. So just notice that it's okay. In this level of existence, it is easier to believe ourselves to be those thoughts, emotions, desires, and sensations because, well, most everyone around us does. So if we want to get along, we have to go along. But keep it in the back of your mind that there is more to you, always. We'll close our meditation today with a Shalom chant, holding in our heart a prayer that all beings might find within themselves the inner peace and harmony that comes from knowing deeply who we are. Modéani, thank you.
תודה רבה.
בבקשה.
Danny, thank you.
Thank you.
Modani, thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Donnie, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll see everybody tomorrow.